Hello, everybody. It's not quite Christmas yet, but what we're reviewing tonight already gets me in the Christmas mood. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it's the holiday season.
Absolutely. This is the Bodacious Rant with Burn and Rye, and we are going to be talking about the first 3 episodes of the new Disney Plus show, Hawkeye, starring Jeremy Renner, Haley Steinfeld, Vera Farmiga, and a handful of other, actors. Plenty of them, too, who actually, so far, I've never seen before, so that's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. And overall, this is probably a little preemptive. I'm admitting that right now, but this may be my favorite Marvel show of the year.
Wow.
Yeah, it's I don't know what it is. If it's the Christmas theme with this, or maybe I'm just a Jeremy Renner simp. I don't know, but it's just it's been a great show so far. What do you think, Bern?
Yeah, I mean, I totally dig the holiday vibe that the show is giving off. I mean, they timed it perfectly to release the day before Thanksgiving, and it'll probably end I think like the week of or like the week before Christmas. So I mean, they've timed it perfectly, and it totally fits. Like you, I'm like in total mood for this type of show right now, and also like getting the chance to get to see Hawkeye, who's been a bit player in the Avengers movies. Now we get to like our own series with him, and we get to like really explore him and his family and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm quite there yet. I wouldn't doubt that it would get up there for me, just because Loki was so good. And WandaVision was so good as well. So I will say, though, really, really solid start to the series so far.
No, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, this is just me calling it early, but so far half this season has been such a joy to watch. But basically, for those of you who don't know, this takes place present day after Endgame. Well, maybe not present day, just because Endgame happened in 2023. So technically, this takes place in a few years from now, 2025. Where Hawkeye's been retired, trying to live his life with his family, and then all of a sudden the reappearance of the Ronin suit, his infamous Ronin suit that we saw in Endgame when he was just chopping up the criminal underworld, comes back to surface, and then he finds out that this girl, Kate Bishop, wore it, and she just did it just for whatever. And so now they're just getting back into the criminal world right before Christmas, where he's trying to spend time with his family. Mm-hmm. And they've just been on the run so far half this season, just from certain organizations trying to keep themselves alive. And like I said, it's been pretty. It's actually the more contained Marvel show this year, I think, yeah. And maybe that's why I like it too, where it's not such big world implications like Loki or WandaVision. And maybe even, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Maybe that one's a little more contained too. You know what I mean? A little more compact. But
yeah, because that one did jump around like a lot more. It was very much sort of like a James Bond movie where they're like jumping to like different different areas, different parts of the world. Sort of like going here and there. This one is very much contained to the streets of New York, and it gives me. It really reminds me the most of. From these shows, the Netflix shows, the Marvel Netflix shows that we got with like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Punisher, Luke Cage, Iron Fist. It's very reminiscent of that, and it really gives off those vibes. It's like this is Marvel proper, doing that. And I was like, oh, okay, this is again just the whole vibe of the show. I'm really digging.
Yeah, and I love the Netflix shows too. So, but shall we jump into the spoilers, Bern?
Yeah, let's get right into it.
Okay, guys, you know the drill. For every time we do a show, we're going to give you a little bit of it, but we're also going to dive into spoilers. So there's going to be some scenes we will really dive into and go in-depth with. So if you haven't seen it, it's on the first 3 episodes are on Disney Plus now, so check them out. Come on back and then, give us your thoughts on what you like about it, what you don't like. So let's get started, shall we? Like I said, so the first 2 episodes, they came out last Wednesday, and it was... Like I said, I was like, okay, I'm getting into this. This is kind of cool. I kind of like the intro where, Kate is like a little kid living like right in the heart of New York.
Yes.
And just kind of in the middle of the whole Chitauri invasion. And honestly, I mean, I know Hawkeye and Jeremy Renner got a lot of shit because he was kind of hardly used. I've been a fan of him ever since Avengers. I did like the idea that he was the villain for the first part of the movie just because... we kind of got to see him really be lethal and see what he could do, like such a guy with a bow and arrow really do to the Avengers, and he almost kind of won them with Loki. But So I've been a fan since then. So that was cool to see that moment where he runs out, hops off the building, and just whatchamacallit, rappels down into a window. Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm right there with you, Kate. We're both fans. So
yeah, cool. I mean that's such a perfect introduction for the character. Like putting her in this big event that happened. In the first big event of the Marvel universe, and to see her like have that other side of that scene and be inspired by that. It's a really cool, like, oh, okay, then now we understand where this character is going to be coming from, as the show goes on. Like, we know, like, this is the moment of inspiration. And I thought it was, like, really, really well done. And yeah, just every time we go back and revisit, the Battle of New York, like we did in Endgame and like we're doing now, it's just kind of, I don't know, I think it's pretty cool that the shows and all the stuff now are like building off of the lore that's been set years ago. It's like it's really awesome to see.
Yeah, I think this is definitely one of the better shows, especially for the Avengers, like Hawkeyes, to really expand upon the aftermath of these events. You know what I mean? Like Civil War, Hawkeye, Falcon and Winter Soldier, all this stuff. They really, it is good, like you're saying, expanding upon it and showing the other side of that coin. So. I really, again, the first episode was really fun just because we also, right after Kate witnesses Hawkeye doing his thing, we see her as an adult in college doing her thing where she's trying to do a little test on top of a roof. The whole, what makes the bell ring? Is it the big thing or the little like bell part inside of it? So her shot was really cool. I really like seeing another Hawkeye essentially because like that's not really her name, but just two archers in this is the best part of me so far. Best part for me at least.
Yeah, and it does a good job of like establishing like her personality too. Like we see that she's very overconfident and one of those types of people that like leap before they look. So it's like she's always finding herself in predicaments that she got herself into, like not really like understanding what the consequences of this would be.
Yeah, and her background being like a really super rich kid, you think I would hate that about her, but honestly she doesn't really come off like that at all. Like she's just kind of an in the moment kind of person. Given you have that much money, you can be, but she doesn't come off that way. And I think that's just credit to Haley Steinfeld really embracing Kate Bishop's like zaniness and goofball like nature, where she's very competitive, like because we see that I love the intro, the opening credits to the episode too, where you really see her growing up to where she is. Like she does karate, like martial arts, archery, all kinds of stuff. So it's like, okay, Kate Bishop's already can handle herself. Interesting.
But I like also that she has all this training, but like the real world applications for it, you see her like struggle with a little bit, like, and I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit, like in her fights with people, we see that she does have the practice, but hasn't really had to defend herself or fight for her life.
No, and then we go to the weirdest thing, the Rogers musical, all about Captain America and the Avengers, and I don't know, a play like that I just don't think would be for me, maybe, but it's also from Hawkeye's point of view, so that was something to consider. His face is just the best thing to watch, where he's just like, what the fuck am I watching?
And the fact that he has his hearing aid turned off too, so he's not.
Yeah, we find out he has a hearing aid now, and his daughter's like, "Did you have it off?" He's like, "Well, because I already lived this. Like, I was there. I don't need to listen to this." And she's like, "Yeah, but it's fun, like they don't get it. Like they're trying to be optimistic about it. He's like, I've already been through this, but." And then when he starts seeing the actor who's playing Nat in that show, he's kind of reliving all of the stuff from Endgame and that loss. And it's like, oh shit, that is pretty tough. So that was kind of the bummer of it. And we kind of see like a celebrity, like an Avenger as a celebrity. Like, what are they like outside of fighting crime or like saving the world? And it's like, hey man, like a guy in the bathroom's like, hey, you want to take a picture? He's like, this is not the right time, dude. And it's like, ew, yeah, you're in the bathroom. Stop. Why would you want a selfie in the bathroom?
Yeah, it is kind of cool that they're touching on this, like, especially for these more these more grounded heroes, like seeing how people around the world react to them. Like we saw a little bit of it with Sam when he was, you know, like around his community, and when he
Yeah.
went to go get the loan, the guy's like, I'm a huge fan. So, and then, you know, now this guy here in the bathroom with Hawkeye, like, you know, they in the bathroom and in the restaurant where we see like them be like, oh, you know, big fan, and the restaurant people being like, this is on us and stuff. We'll take care of it. It's they're the celebrities of that world, you know, these superheroes.
I mean, we kind of Endgame kind of introduced that with Hulk when he kind of became
Oh
Smart
yes,
Hulk,
that's right.
and they're like, "Can we take a picture?" 100% tiny person. It's just
Dad.
Hulk out, Hulk out. It's like, oh my god, that's just the beginning. That was like the foreshadowing of what's gonna be like after Endgame and stuff. And so, I'm glad we're kind of seeing that consistency, and you know, I really like how I talked about in the beginning with the like what the episode's about, how Ronin has really affected. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but I like that Ronin, like the moniker, when in Endgame you don't really think about what he's necessarily doing because it's the apocalypse. People, half the world is gone. Do we really care what we're doing at this point? And you don't think about it, but he was really fucking up the criminals, man. Like just chopping people up, like murdering them without remorse. And he does feel. I'm glad he does feel bad about that. He didn't take that as like, you know, I had my job and I did it. What do you want me to? What am I supposed to say? Sorry. It's like no, he genuinely feels bad because he realizes that was a dark time in my life, and I don't want to be like that anymore. Especially now that his family's back and stuff. So I kind of like. I think this one, for all the Marvel shows that have done the whole running from your past theme, like Winter Soldier, Scarlet Witch with like her journey and stuff, become like Hydra and everything, and even Loki, just him constantly backstabbing people. So far, this one I feel like it captures that the best, or at least is like really showing what this shit, like the bad karma of it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what I think the Disney Plus shows deserve the most credit for. You know, with them having an extended amount of time to really dig into these characters, we get to dig into their issues and see them work to resolve them. You know, like you mentioned, Wanda with her trauma, and you know Loki with his self love. You know, and Sam, you know, thinking about the ramifications of taking on the mantle such as Captain America, you know, and now we have Hawkeye who's dealing with the consequences of a dark period of his life, you know, and I'm very excited to see how, you know, that progresses through the show. But just the fact that, you know, that they're touching on these things and really fleshing out these characters all these years later is awesome.
Yeah. And again, I'm glad that we're just seeing like the one of the heroes that gets so much shit on because he's a guy with a bow and arrow. We're seeing like he's very much a hero himself. Like he's done a lot and he feels it all just like everybody else. Like he realizes even all the things we've done, it's still hard on him, especially the whole hearing thing, which we'll touch upon in the next part of this our review. But that first episode was great, where Haley Steinfeld goes back home, finds out her mom's dating, you know, the swordsman character Tony Dalton, who oh my god, I can't stand him. Jack. His character's name is Jack, but the actor's name is Tony Dalton.
Yeah.
With his stupid stash.
He's so great. God. Yeah.
He's great. He's great because I hate him so much.
Yeah.
He's such a smug son of a bitch in this show. Like, he comes off trying to be all cool and nice. I'm like, dude, I see that fucking stash. You're not cool. You're a monster.
It's such a good bit of a stunt casting, especially for those of you who've watched Better Call Saul and know his character from that show. You know how he plays this very like gleeful, like very nice on the surface. You know, always has a smile on his face, but that's always like, you know, followed by just this level of menace to him. So you know, like you're like, oh, this guy says he's good, but there's something under the surface there. So I really like that Tony Dalton brings that to this character, and I like that Haley Steinfeld, you know, Kate Bishop is like, I don't trust you, dude.
Yeah, especially with all when she's like, what's all the swords? And I did some digging on that, how he's known as the swordsman in Marvel, where he's definitely a villain. So I don't know. I'm going to be interested in how that plot line will play out, you know. And I feel like and Vera Farmiga has such presence as her mom. Like she, I think there's more to her as well, where she's just kind of downplaying like certain things. It's just like, what you know more? What are you doing, Vera?
Yeah, she's very underutilized, I would say, in these first 3 episodes, but I think that's done on purpose. I think my speculation is we're supposed to suspect things from Jack, but I think it's the mom who's hiding something for sure.
I think she's the puppet master behind everything. Just really, behind the scenes doing certain stuff. So we'll have to find out in the later ones, but the first episode is pretty straightforward, how she's very suspecting of Jack, and he basically buys the Ronin sword at this auction underneath like a chair, like in the basement of the building or something.
Yeah, like a wine cellar, I think.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so Ronin stuff is just being sold. Like, how do you guys even get this stuff? But okay. I was just like, you monster, you don't deserve that sword. That's not for you. You can't use it, but whatever. And also, I will say this: Haley Steinfeld could rock a suit pretty well. Like, she was supposed to go in like a red dress, but then she comes out in the all black.
Oh, the all black suit, yeah.
I was just like, damn, like, she still got it. Like, well,
I was like this. I
was like, I need to excuse myself real quick. Like, damn.
I was like that guy that she talks to. I forget what his name was, but he was like the third or something. Something the third. I forget, but like, you know, like she wears the suit better than I ever could, you know. Exactly.
And then when she dons the Ronin suit, that's basically what set the rest of the few episodes off. And she saves the one-eyed dog. What's the dog's name again? Do we have a name for it or no?
They haven't named him in the show, but from the comic run that the show is based upon, it's Lucky, the pizza dog.
Okay, it is Lucky the pizza. That's what I was thinking. Because we'll talk about it in a little bit, but I wanted to say it was Lucky, but I like how he's just kind of there, and then she ends up saving him in traffic. I was like, oh, thank God, save the dog. Like, to not let this one-eyed dog die. He already lost an eye. Like, he can't lose anymore, please. And like I said, I love the Christmas vibe with this. How Jeremy, like, oh my God, I can't say him. Clint. He's just trying to spend time with his family. Like, what stuff do you guys want to do? Like, ugly sweaters, movie marathon,
gingerbread houses,
yeah. But then as soon as he sees the Ronin suit, it all kind of comes back to him. He's like, oh shit, this is gonna be bad.
Yeah, I gotta
I need to take care of this. Yeah, I need to take care of this now. So, and that kind of sucks that he has to leave the family, but I like that his family's learning sign language. At least his youngest one, Nathan, where he's like saying, I love you, Dad. And he's like, I love you more. Like, I don't know. I think that's a really cool thing, too, that they're embracing that and not just like oblivious. Like, he's not rejecting that he's getting old. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And also, just all the battles that he's gone through. It's like it's deteriorated his hearing. So, adding that element to the character, that it's something that they've done recently in the comic books, and I'm glad that they added that to his character here in the show, because that does add a level of representation also, and then also adds a level of realism too. He is just a normal guy at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, because I know they would play it off like some heroes are like, no, I'm not getting old, I still got it. And he's like, no, he's very embracing it. He wants to be done with it all. Like, I don't want to fight anymore. I'm good.
He always refers to it, being an Avenger, as a job. This wasn't just like a thing that he was like, oh, I'm going to go be a hero, sometimes or whatever. But like, it was work for him.
It was a full-time job. So, exactly. And then the second episode after, Kate kind of gets in a little scuffle with the tracksuit mafia.
The tracksuit mafia.
It's like, and she even's like, "That's a thing? Like, that's the
that's very on the nose."
Because all they're wearing is just tracksuits, and she kind of fights them off. But like you said earlier, all her skills and stuff, when she hasn't applied them in real life, it's like, yeah, they can only get her so far. And when he saved her, like nothing, like it was no problem. That was pretty cool. But I like when they go back to the apartment, like her apartment, which is fancy as shit too. And he's like, what happened when you got the suit? Like, remember everything. Did anyone notice you? No. Did you come by anywhere before you got here? Well, I had to drop off the dog. And it's like, oh my God, like you basically gave it away. And then Molotovs come in. It's like, oh shit, this place is gone. But I like that. I thought that was kind of a cool thing too, where he's like, leave the suit, we'll come back for it. It's like that's actually pretty cool. His suit was fireproof. Like, I guess that suit was really invented like for any kind of scenario.
Yeah, it was just like exactly like any application, like earth, wind, fire, whatever. It's all resistant to everything.
And again, I love their chemistry. Like how he doesn't want anything to do with her, but she's such a
She's a fangirl.
Yeah, she's a fangirl. Like she can't really contain herself around him. She's really trying to please him. Like in the first few episodes, and he's just like, I don't want this. I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, I just want to get the suit and I want to go home for Christmas.
And the second one was great just because we find out that somebody took the suit for a LARPing thing, which is live action role playing. Like if any of you guys have seen Role Models, like what Paul Rudd and Sean William Scott do, this was basically that. And some guys like, oh, like you guys make fun of my suit, bam, upgraded. It's like, do you not realize what you're wearing, dude? Like, come on now, like this is a big deal. So I love when he goes there, and even though they know who he is, like the girl was kind of like a dick about it, where she's like, the real heroes are like the cops and firefighters, okay, not you. It's like,
oh really?
Okay.
I didn't get that vibe at all. Like I thought it was just like,
I thought that's kind of what it was, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe I was just reading too much into it.
For me, it was like, dude, like we know who you are, but like this is the deal. Like this is role playing. If you're gonna come in here, you got it. Like it's the rule.
Well, I thought that's what she said too. Like the heroes are firefighters and stuff. But then she's like, she's like, bottom line, you're gonna do what we want to do, or else you're not getting in. And it's like, okay, what do I have to do? And she's like, okay, maybe you're cool after all. And they like sign him up and everything. Give him I like the little scroll he gets. There's like, what is this? That's your story. I don't want this. What do I need? Mm-hmm. They give him like, no, you got to get your armor and your sword. Like
it's a whole thing, dude.
It's a whole thing. He's like, I feel like secretly he wanted to really do it, but at the same time he's like, I don't have time for this. I just want to get this over with.
Mm-hmm.
And when he goes through, he's just going through like nothing. Everybody's trying to like hit him and stuff. He's just bam, like dodging and hitting.
Yeah, like very minimal movements.
Because it's like, this is easy shit to him. Like this isn't real, so I can do whatever I want. And when he finally runs into the guy, he's just like, can I just duel with you? Like this will be a big thing for me, please. And it's like, okay, fine. Let's get like I love that he's really cool about this stuff for the most part. Even though he's like, you either give me the suit, I'm gonna hit you, and then I'm taking the suit. What do you want? Yeah,
it's like, let's have a duel. Like I like that they went through the duel and stuff. That was a lot of fun. Like again, like how he is like, at the end of the day, he's just trying to get the suit, but he's also not like an asshole. He's like, he wants to. Yeah. He's like, okay, like I'm gonna do this for you, dude. Like you said, like I'm just like, this is all I got. This is as close as I could be to being a hero. He's like, okay, like let me just make your day. Why not?
And then afterwards, he's like, come on, you had fun, right? It's like, this was nice. Like he kind of liked being back in the action a little bit, even though it was fake. But it was still just one of those things like, man, I got to relive the glory days a little bit. This is kind of cool. And nobody got hurt, so that's even a plus. And then, after him, he's just trying to tell Kate, listen, you don't want any part of this. Like, forget the suit. Just go home. Go about your day. Like, if you need me, though, here's my number. Don't text it, please, or else I'm blocking you.
Yeah, I'll block you.
And then, I like when she goes back home to her mom and Jack is there. Because obviously he's moved in, so that's a little... I do feel bad for her because that'd be kind of shitty. Like, oh, a semester away at home, this guy just moves into our house. Like, who the hell? What the hell? I'd be like, separately, like, what the fuck happened? And I love their little exchange too, where he's obsessed with swords, so he plays off like, I just like them. It's a hobby, like fencing. Mm-hmm. So when she's like dominating him and she's getting frustrated, like, I know you're fucking lying. Why? Yeah,
you're letting me win. Like, stop letting me win.
But when she tried to go for his face, just bam, like one easy parry.
Yeah, disarm, like immediately.
I was like, oh, there we are. There it is. Mm-hmm. And even she's like, that's the real Jack. Like, there's something more to him, Mom. Why don't you see it? And that's when I started realizing when she's downplaying that stuff, like, oh my God, you're the one attacking him. You need to relax. It's like, are you serious? Like, are you drinking too much, Mom? What are you noticing? What side are you on?
Yeah, this isn't like one of those things like, oh, I can just hand wave it off. Like, no, like whenever, like if this was something you didn't know, you'd be very surprised by it. So she's definitely in the know of like what's going on.
Exactly. And then, also too, in the first episode, I kind of sped over this, but how she went to this dude Armand's house, like the guy who commented on her suit, who's Jack's
there you go,
uncle,
Armand.
Jack's rich uncle. We find that he's been stabbed in his home, and she definitely thinks it's through a sword. But in the second episode, we find out, oh my god, the news captured the Ronin. Did he kill Armand? And she's like, oh shit, that's not good. But when Jack obviously hands her like a butterscotch with Armand's like company thing on it or whatever, Armand the Third, I guess, that's obviously confirmation to us too, like the fans, like, okay, yeah, he's definitely involved. He did something. So we just have to find out the why.
What's the game here, man?
Only murders in the building.
Oh my gosh. Maybe this is like it's a crossover.
Oh my god, no. I'm sorry, guys. Only Murders in the Building is a Hulu show, which is great. We'll have to talk about that another time. But let's keep going with the second episode. And, you know, after Hawkeye gets the suit, stashes it, is about to go home, Tracksuit Mafia ruins his day, finds him, is like, oh, well, you know Kate Bishop, right? He's like, I don't know who that is. Like,
well, no, it was a catch and release. Like, it was his plan to get caught. Like, he's pulling the widow move.
Sorry.
Like we saw in the first Avengers movie where, you know, she got caught by the bad guys.
Yeah, and Kate, thinking she's gonna come and rescue him, just crashes through like an idiot, and she's, oh, I didn't realize we were bringing guns to this fight. Like, it's like, no shit, Sherlock. And they're both just stuck on the toy, like
the little seesaws, or like,
yeah, the little mechanical things. I don't know what to call them. The little mechanical horses, just like, oh god. And we find out that someone's running the Tracksuit Mafia, which is this woman in a red room. But we'll find out, and then we're going to talk about that right now.
Yeah, episode 3.
Episode 3, which is my favorite one so far, just because it was such a strong intro where it opens up on this little girl in class, and we don't know. I mean, I kind of figured out after a couple seconds where it's the girl running the tracksuit mob. And we find out that she's deaf because she's in class. She's trying to read words, like read people's lips. She's trying to read the teacher's lips and stuff, but she can't. And, you know, she's struggling, but the teacher's understanding of it. But when we go home to her dad, she's like, I thought I was going to be at a school where I'm at, like with other hard of hearing or deaf children. And he's like, I'm sorry, we can't do that. But the dad is so supportive. Like, it's hard not to like that scene where,
yeah,
he's really telling you, like, you're special no matter what, but this is also a test for you. Like, you're gonna have to, I mean, I love to put you in a school where you feel a part of something, but I want you to learn, you know, being deaf and being in a world where not everybody's deaf too. Like, you know what I mean? I know I'm probably messing that up a little bit, but he's basically saying life is hard, so you got to embrace it.
Yeah, she can go to a deaf school, but we, you know, what he thinks is better is to put her in, just basically like just thrust her into the deep end. You know, like, you're gonna be in a world where a lot of people aren't deaf, you know, and they don't read sign language. You know, they won't be able to sign to you, so you're gonna have to know all these things. Like, basically, like, kind of like learn it the hard way. You know.
And then, you know, we see her at karate or jiu-jitsu, whatever it is. I think it was karate. I can't tell, to be honest, but
some martial art.
Some martial art, exactly. And she has a prosthetic leg, which we haven't explained how yet, so I'm sure we'll figure that out in a little bit. But, you know, her dad tells her it's not just about size and strength, because she sees this big kid totally dominate this little guy. And he's like, it's all for you. It's going to be all about speed. So just think about that. We'll pick you up later. Totally dominates the kid that just beat on this little kid. So I was like, oh shit, she really is a badass. And then we find her as an adult, just, you know, still fighting and stuff like that, martial arts, who's played by Alaqua Cox, I believe that's how you say it. And she is, I need to see her in more stuff after this. She was awesome in this so far. Hold on, I'm getting some static here, Burn. Give me a second here. Red Leader, we have issues.
Stop knocking into stuff. But one of the cool things that I don't know if you picked up on, but, you know, in the history of the character of Echo, that other person that was there at the karate lesson, or, you know, martial arts lesson with her dad, we don't see the person. We just see like the lower part of their body. But my speculation is, and I think it's almost 100% the case, that is in fact Kingpin, because Kingpin has a history with Echo in the comics, and I'll get into that, you know, later. But, you know, just for everybody to keep that in mind right now, because I do think that we're gonna get the Kingpin.
That'd be great if he does come back. He was such a great villain in Daredevil. Like he really was the Kingpin when I saw him in that show. So I'm hoping that, but Alaqua Cox again just nails this episode. Like still just dominating everything. But when she gets home back to like her dad's mechanic shop or like auto shop, you go in, you hear her, she's sticking outside, but you see Ronan just fucking dudes up, slashing them, throwing shit at him. And when she goes in and she goes to the office, she sees Ronan just delivering the death blow to her dad. And he knows he's guilty too, but she doesn't see it that way, where he's saying, you got to get out of here, just go. Like, I'm already dying. And she's like, no, I'm staying with you. It's like, ah, shit. This is why I really like this too. Again, like, we kind of seen like Ronan is not very popular with society either, where the news is portraying like, oh yeah, this is basically a vigilante. And is he back? Like, are we going to have more crime in the world now?
Yeah.
So
it's like he was a mass murderer. The people he were killing were bad too, but at the end of the day, it was like a mass murderer.
And at the end of the day, there are still innocents involved, even with crime. Like, for the most part, she seemed like she was innocent, and her dad was in the crime ring. But now we find out she's joined the Tracksuit Mafia, running that group just so she could get after Ronan. And she's wondering, like, what the hell, Clint Barton? Like, no one knows that Clint Barton is Ronan, which I think is the most interesting thing. But he did always wear a mask, so it makes sense. Like,
yeah, there wasn't any way to tie it to Hawkeye. And I thought that was pretty interesting. It's always funny when the characters are like, who's Ronan and stuff? And, like, us as viewers who know everything, we're like, it's him. Like, you have him right there. What are you talking about?
Oh, like, are you guys dumb? Come on. But no, exactly.
Amateurs.
Seriously. And I like that she's like fluent in sign, but he's not there yet. So when he says, I want more cookies, please.
Yeah, it's like, this is all I know.
She waves that off like, oh my God. And then the dude, Coffee, he comes in, he's like, okay, she's asking what you're doing here. And I like that he's translating for her. And she automatically assumes Kate Bishop is Ronan, which it's like, let's really think about it. You really think this nerd next to him is really Ronan? Like, this tactical like killing machine? Like,
the one that just fell through the skyline like 5 minutes ago?
But she's so consumed by vengeance, I don't blame her either, that she just tries to choke Kate out. Like, like, fuck this person. I want to murder him now. And that this whole segment of action where he breaks him out of the KB toys, which I was like, oh, KB toys.
I know, such a throwback, right?
It's such a throwback. And I just really like seeing Hawkeye in action, just like doing all these trick shots. I think this is like the most Hawkeye action we've seen in a while too.
Oh, so, yeah, definitely.
Like with him like doing all the acrobatics, shooting stuff. And even Kate was like, oh my God, like he just shot me free. Like, cool, let's do this. And then when they get outside, she's like, let's take this car. This is great. He busts a Cadillac. He's like, I'm not going to do that to a Challenger. Are you serious? Like, let's go. And then we're kind of hearing, like, how he's hard of hearing because Echo crushed his hearing aid. He's just like, I can't hear you, so you're doing what I'm telling you, please. And she's like, fine. And then the whole car chase I think the car chase was very well shot, too.
That's a lot of fun, yeah.
It was so much fun. Haley Steinfeld really embraced. Like, every time I saw her, I was like, "Man, you really are Kate Bishop. Like, you doing the archery looks very convincing. Shooting it out of the car.
All the trick arrows were a lot of fun.
I like how he's kept like, nope, not that one. No, way too dangerous. And when she started shooting stuff like a putty arrow, and then, oh, please be something good. It blows up the van, and she's like, "There's more arrows dangerous than that one. Like, that was a bomb."
Yeah, like what could be more? I want to know too. Like, what is worse than an explosion?
I'm very curious to see what was one more dangerous than that. Hopefully, we'll find out later this season. But, and I think the coolest part of it was when they get up on the bridge, and he's like, "You're gonna shoot up and just aim up." And when we close up on his arrow, it says Pym on it. I was like, oh, no way.
Yeah,
and he shoots the arrow coming down, and it just became all huge. I was like, oh, that is such a cool thing.
That was dope.
Oh my God. And then when they hop off the bridge, recreating the Avengers part with her, with the plunger arrow, she's like, oh, I get that now. Because she tried to shoot, it's like, what's a plunger arrow gonna do?
It just stuck to the windshield, like, okay.
Oh my God. It was so great. And then just the rest of the episode was awesome. Like I said, when the more that they're like talking and hanging out, And I love that she's obsessed with his branding. Like, that's been the whole thing the last few episodes. Like, you gotta be more iconic. That's your problem. And he's like, I'm not supposed to be that. I'm trying to be low key here.
Yeah. Again,
But
this was work, like this was like my 9 to 5. This wasn't me like trying to do like being like, what does he say? I wasn't trying to be a role model, like I was just
yeah,
doing my job, which was to defend the world.
and and it's also because like, yeah, I was Ronin. I've done a lot of bad stuff before being an Avenger. Like, I'm not someone you want to be like. Like, just get that in your head. But she said, "You're saving me when you should be with your family on Christmas." Like, that's enough to model after. And I like her little quick sketch of like, this is what you need, and it's the Hawkeye suit.
It's the OG suit, yeah,
with the goggle look, and she's like, "What the hell are those things on my head?" And it's like, "Those are wings, like a hawk." And it's got H, so like she's kind of saying, and then just drab you in purple. He's like, my wife will divorce me if I wear that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So, and then I just, again, I love their dynamic so far.
Yeah, their chemistry is real good. It's like the thing that's really driving the show. All the other elements are great too, but their banter together. Just her being like the fangirl. And wanting to like impress him at every turn, and him being the weathered hero that's kind of like being pulled back into this thing, like the whole like, I'm getting too old for this shit type of mentality. But them two, they're such great performers. Jeremy Renner and Haley Steinfeld. I think they're both Academy nominated. So they got the tools and they got the talent. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, I did go see that again. It was great. But yeah, and then the end where she's like, okay, we're going to break into my mom's apartment. We're going to find out what's going on. We're going to find out what Coffee and the Tracksuit Mafia are into. And, we see that the Coffee's connected, or an employee of Sloan Limited. We don't know what that is yet, but I'm like, I wonder what the hell that's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But then as soon as, Jeremy Renner's exploring the apartment, because he knows somebody's there, we see Jack holding the Ronin's sword. Is like, oh, shit. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, like, they got caught. So... And it's just like, damn it, cut to black. I was like, no, I need to find out what's going to happen.
I know. I was watching it. I was just like, I had to stop myself and be like, what? No, that can't be it.
Oh, man. But we still got the rest of the half. Is there half of the season? But before we finish up, was there anything else we should talk about? In did we miss anything, Byrne, do you think?
No, I mean, just to expand on, like Echo's story from the comics, in the comics, her dad was killed by Kingpin, and Kingpin made a promise to her dad. His dying wish was for him to take care of her, and so basically in the comics, Echo is like a surrogate daughter to the Kingpin, and so that's why I think that's who we saw in the dojo there. And that just when he like caresses her cheek and has a chuckle, it sounds a lot like Vincent D'Onofrio. So I'm really hoping that's the case, that they're bringing him in, because that would mean that a lot of the door would be open for other Netflix characters to appear in these Disney Marvel shows. So that's just what excites me to see, if maybe he's the one ultimately pulling the strings. I don't want to get too far ahead. It might not even be like a whole Mephisto situation where that doesn't even happen. But the speculation is rising.
Yeah, and I mean, it could also be the uncle figure that Coffee was warning Echo about. Like, listen, if we keep this up, Uncle's gonna
that's
get
him.
Pissed. And she's like, "Did you ever question my dad? Like, I'm in charge. Don't worry about it." And it's like, okay. I guess the only thing I'm gonna finish off is my only worry for this is that, given this, I love the runtime of these episodes, around like 40-50 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried that even though it's 6 episodes, I hope they don't follow that trend of just, oh yeah, there's some plot lines we didn't get to because of the time, like the length of the show. So I'm like, no, you guys better come through with this. Please be the one show this year that finishes the plots for the most point, and then the next season we can revisit them or do new stuff. That's my only thing. I'm just kind of wanting to get out in the air. Yeah,
because essentially we're halfway through now, and it feels like at a story point we're just at the end of the first act. So kind of like getting into the second act here. So yeah, I do hope that they use the the next couple episodes, I hope they use their time well with progressing the story there, and we'll see when that comes out, but hopefully it's like you said, it ends on more of a Loki note, where it ends strong.
Yeah, and we have to see Yelena from Black Widow come in because
Yeah.
she's got the hit on Ronan, so we will have to see what happens. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are done with our spoiler session, so if you guys, what are your vibes on this show so far? Please let us know in the comments. We would love to know, just to see, are you guys loving this as much as we are, or is this maybe not your favorite? But, as usual, share around, comment, all that good stuff. And we're going to be diving the holiday season more with this. So stay bodacious, keep on ranting, and above all, stay safe. And Bern, I'm gonna talk to you later, man. I'll see you then, or see you another time.
Alrighty, man. Hey, everybody. Like you said, be good, be safe, and we will catch you guys on the next one.